Yeah, I got my fic, and it's disgusting.
We don't care who you wanna ship. We're gonna read your fic and we're gonna give it shipwrecked. Ooh, 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 shipwrecked.
Welcome to Shipwrecked, where we bring to life the best and worst fanfiction from the internet. This week, we're ruining Stucky for you. And by Stucky, we mean Steve/Bucky from Captain America or the Avengers franchise.
Wee! I'm really excited for Stucky. Yeah, so for the How We Met Stucky segment, I heard about it from Taneene. I didn't know this was a thing.
Not gonna lie, I feel like these How We Met segments are definitely gonna be all... We heard it from Taneene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's the Taneene thing.
Yeah.
She's a little troublemaker over here with all of her fucking ships.
I remember when Taneene fed me cereal.
What?
When you introduced us to cereal, for the first time, we'd never eaten cereal before.
I am the ethnic friend, so of course I do introduce you to new foods that you've never tried before.
You're the least white of all of us, so
Which is not an achievement.
it's not.
For what it's worth. It's a low bar.
Yeah. So my understanding is that Bucky Barnes, who is played by Sebastian Stan from the Gossip Girl series, which is
Ryan's favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing about him as well. And and I guess Steve Rodgers, Captain America,
AKA Chris Evans, AKA son of a dentist.
So son of a dentist. So I guess my understanding of Chris Evans is he's one of the many Chris's that all look when they do
the Chris Crisis.
The Chris Crisis. So the Chris Crisis. Who are the members of the Chris Crisis?
Chris Pine,
Chris Evans,
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans. That's so far as the Chris Crisis that I can think of.
And then me,
Pine,
because I'm always,
of course. Pine is the only one that's not involved in the MCU. However, he does have a co-starring role in Wonder Woman, which is a DC film. So shame, little bitch. You should have had an MCU role.
I'll fight you on this because, how I love my DC, though I do not like my DC movies.
You don't like DCEU. Now, here's a fun thing. Chris Crisis. Chris Hemsworth played Chris Pine's dad in the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek. Whoa! I said Star Wars. I meant Star Trek.
Shit.
Star Trek movie. He did it amazing. This was before he kind of blew up as like an actor, so they used like a very minor role. But it was like crazy. I was like, oh shit, that's his dad. It's not his dad.
Yeah, so was it Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth?
Hemsworth plays Pine's dad in like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's totally right.
I don't remember that at all, but
I remember that.
It's been a while. I saw it in theaters.
I saw Star Trek so many times on my video iPod that my video iPod couldn't keep track of the amount of times that I'd watched it, and one time informed me that I had witnessed it 320 times. I have difficulty believing that, but I also believe it.
I have difficulty believing most things.
Man, remember video iPods?
Yeah.
Does anything
No, sorry, did I say video iPod? I meant my iPod Touch. Sorry.
I just remember being like, that was my first experience with, I had an iTunes gift card and I decided I was going to treat myself to some iTunes music videos. And I picked some of the like scandalous ones you don't want. Yeah, I think I downloaded Pink's like Stupid Girls.
Yeah, I had that one for my video.
Yeah, it was good. I downloaded that and I downloaded like The Killers, like all these things that I've done. And then I downloaded American Idiot.
That's a good video. I mean,
no, actually, it wasn't American Idiot. Sorry, it was Holiday. I downloaded Holiday.
I remember. Obviously. I think Sam Baer also did the Holiday video. The director of the Smells Like Teen Spirit video did a lot of the videos for the American Idiot album.
I believe it.
Yeah, but I think they did get a different director for the Jesus of Suburbia video. I want to say.
I'm gonna have to watch that later because that's...
Sorry. 8th grade me is really coming out right now.
I mean, I remember you being one of the like biggest Green Day fans that there ever was.
Yeah.
Did you wear the tie?
I wore the tie.
You wore the tie.
Sorry.
I never got that far
I went
down.
to a Green Day concert and I bought the tie.
You bought a red tie at a Green Day concert?
Yeah, it was actually a special one that had the logo on
it.
So
I used to. Oh, are you ready for this? I used to have a Green Day heart grenade light switch in my room that someone bought me for my birthday.
No.
Oh, that's good.
And then someone else had bought me a Green Day Green Day heart grenade themed CD holder thing for my car. But I was 13, so I kept it untouched for 5 years until I got my first car, and then I opened up the packaging, and now it's still in my car.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say there's probably Green Day fan fiction.
Oh, that's next episode.
Yeah,
just do band fan fiction.
Oh yeah, band fan fiction.
Because I'm sure the amount of My Chemical Romance way
or Good Charlotte fanfics
or crossovers.
Oh, crossovers. Yeah, Panic at the Disco Fall Out
Boy. The used /MCR.
It's a big mess.
Yeah, it's just
Davey Havoc from
Lance and Brandon Urie are just giving each other handies in the backstage.
Oh, you know what we should do one episode? We should do South Park. The South Park?
We should do
really
South Park.
Anyway.
Yeah. So this episode, though.
Oops, sorry, guys.
Yeah. No, it's my fault.
It happens.
It's a classic shipwrecked diversion.
Diversion tactics.
Okay. Well, I have one I can start with. I just want to say it's on fanfiction.net.
No!
As all of the best fanfics are.
I actually found this one.
Yeah, he did find it for me, and he said that I had to read it because he felt like the whole thing had been written by me, which is not a compliment, as you're about to find out. So anyway, this fic, which is by Supernatural Nut 98, is called The Bitch Next Door.
Dude, that writer is 19 or 20 years old right now. I can't handle this.
I'm assuming she publishes in 2016. So
oh, no.
Anyway, the summary is Clara, Bella, and Liliana are two best friends from high school who both go to a party, work due, and see their two best friends for the first time in 10 years, Steve and Bucky. But what will happen when the truth comes out and Clara Bella gets jealous? Will Liliana and Clara make up, or will they stay mad at each other?
I'm lost already.
I don't know. I feel like this is more going to be Clara Bella / Liliana.
So the reason I told Chris to read this one is because when I came across it, I just read the entire thing in her Valley Girl voice. I'm just, fuck. You gotta do it, man. It's not up to me.
I feel like I was born for this moment.
You're born for this role.
I was born for this role, okay? So, The Bitch Next Door, Chapter 1, The Work Due. Hello, I'm Liliana. I am the head of training and tactics at S.H.I.E.L.D.
Support. I'm the head of training and tactics at S.H.I.E.L.D. And if you'd like to support our podcast, please go to our Patreon account.
And that was the whole fic right there. That was the whole fic. That was all that
Let me painstakingly read you the link.
So yeah, hello, I'm Liliana. I'm the head of training and tactics at S.H.I.E.L.D. along with my best friend, Kerber. I know it's a little weird calling her that, but her real name is Clarabella. Anyway, I'm currently in the process of training our new recruits here at S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's going horrible. In 4 hours, we've only managed to work out 3 tactics. Colson would kill me if that ever happens, so we won't tell him. Come on, let's move it. 2 hours to get this right. I shout at the trainees. Care Bear walks in. Miss Cooper, may I have a word? Sure, keep practicing your takedowns. I'll be back. I walk out of the room while they carry out the takedowns and talk to Care Bear. What's up? There is a Christmas party tonight. I wanted to see if you would go with me. I wasn't too keen on going, but it was a Christmas party after all. Sure, I'll meet you at 6. She walks back to the weapons, and Kay walks in on 2 of the boys fighting. Scott and Jack, what in God's green earth are you doing? Jack and Scott were the 2 boys of the class who thought they owned it. They were both arguing about what happened. If this carries on, you will see who owns this class, and that is me. Now get out of here, all of you. Practice all on your takedowns and report back tomorrow. They all leave, and I get to go to my locker and get things back onto my apartment, and I just happen to share that with Clara or Bella. I get home, I choose my favorite dress. It's a grayish black...
my favorite dress. I'm just imagining Ryan at some point going like, at this time of day? That's right.
It's not wrong. Anyway, favorite dress. It's a grayish black strapless sparkly dress with black gloves and black heels. Picture at the top. I need to see. There is a picture. It's at the top. Okay. I met Clara at S.H.I.E.L.D. and we get to talking when we are approached by 2 men, who I must say are very attractive. Liliana Cooper, Clara Bella Smith. Can we help you? They both look puzzled. It's Steve Rodgers and Bucky Barnes. We went to GSU together. What is GSU? Is that like Golden State University? I don't know.
Golden State University? Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Steve Rodgers and Bucky Barnes, who are friends within college, are not here. It's been 10 years since we were all together. What are you doing?
What are you doing here?
This whole thing is just a Californian skit. What are you doing here? It's only S.H.I.E.L.D. employees. Trey.
What are you doing here?
We work at S.H.I.E.L.D. We have the last 10 years. You would never have seen us because we were always on missions. After a few minutes, they all find a place to sit, and Liliana and Clara go and get drinks. While waiting to be served, Liliana lets out something that she has wanted to for 10 years. Hey, Kerber, I know it's probably 10 years too late, but I have something to tell you. I think I love Bucky. 10 years too late, Lily. He may be with someone else now. Liliana looked disappointed, and then they take the drink back to the table. Liliana hands Bucky his, and Clara hands Steve his, and he sits next to Steve, while Liliana sits with Bucky. After a few hours, Liliana starts to get jealous because Bucky was flirting with Liliana. What? I think I missed something there.
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
Clara had enough and left with Steve. Liliana had noticed that Clara had left and told Bucky that she was leaving to see what was up with Clara. Bucky, being the gentleman that he is, offered her a ride home. When they reach her apartment, Liliana invites Bucky in, and they find Clara and Steve talk about something. Kerber, what happened? You leave early. Gerber, what happened? You leave early. Are you okay? Clara told Steve to wait outside, and Liliana told Bucky to do the same. When they left, Clara and Liliana had a huge fight. No, I'm not okay. I wanted to tell you, but you don't give me much choice once you told me. At this point, Liliana was confused. Tell me what? That I love Bucky too. Liliana was shocked that Clara hadn't said anything. For 2 hours straight, Clara and Liliana had an argument. Liliana had enough. She stormed out after packing up some things. Until you grow up, I'll be at motel. Liliana left Clara crying and angry in her apartment. Steve walked in after she had gone and asked what happened. Clara explained everything. Bucky, however, was trying to comfort Liliana. What happened back there? She couldn't face the truth and started threatening me. How can she do that after everything I have done for her? Liliana burst out into tears, so Bucky held her tight and told her everything was going to be okay, and that he would help her through it. Liliana and Bucky go to the bar just across the road and have a few games of darts and pool and a few drinks. And little did Lily know, Bucky had signed her up for the karaoke. Next up, we have Liliana Cooper. Liliana looked at Bucky and dragged him up on the stage to sing with her. Once the song was done, they both paid for the drinks and went back to the motel room. There was only one bed, so there was a choice to make Bucky and Liliana in the same bed, or in the one bed and one on the couch. In the end, they both decided to sleep in the bed. Liliana was still upset about her fight with her best friend. Bucky hugged Liliana tight. As she fell asleep, Bucky whispered to her, "I love you, Lily," and she smiled and said, "I love you too, Bucky."
Amazing.
And that's the fic. And I don't understand why this was tagged Stucky, because Steve and Bucky never get together. I feel like I've been lied to. I did not actually read this before I read it. So
I had a good time though, and then I had fun.
But that's what counts.
yeah. At least one of us did. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be the same after that.
We've all been affected today.
I just like that right in the middle. There's just, what are you doing?
What are you doing here?
So anyway, self-insert fix. Really good.
Yeah.
Love them. All right. Are you guys ready to get fucking blown away by mine? Jesus Christ.
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm so ready for this.
Chapter 1, New York City, 2016. Every time he went to sleep, just like he was doing right now, Steve could still remember this moment as if it happened only minutes and not decades earlier. Peggy and Colonel Phillips both sitting in the audience. Howard and Dr. Erskine standing there dead center inside the huge laboratory. And himself, young and often sickly, Stephen Grant Rodgers, strapped onto a metal table like the experimental rat he had agreed to become, to gain the strength and length he'd always lack. Woo! To join a war that he'd die for, and most of all, to become the better version of himself that he always knew he could be. Today, we take not another step toward annihilation, but a first step toward the path to peace, the doctor called out over his microphone to his captive spectators. Little weird, but whatever. Sorry, that was
no big deal.
That was my aside. Anyway. Yeah, right after I punch Hitler in the fucking face, Steve thought to himself as the last of the preparations were made around him. Vials of fluids were put in their rightful places. Penicillin was inserted inside his veins. Levers were pushed. Buttons were clicked. And then something streaming inside his blood, his muscles getting extended from their formerly weakened state, being risen upright, doors closing around his form, and bright, so bright light, and then pain. So much pain! His muscles, his bones, everything inside of him contracting. Screamed and screamed until his vocal cords became scratchy inside his throat, and then, darkness. Complete and utter darkness. He stayed there, completely and utterly still. Until, Stephen, how are you feeling? Asked someone in a gentle voice laced with a German accent that the blonde recognized as the man who's led the entire operation, and still with his eyes closed, he tiredly whispered, "Taller." But Peggy's suddenly booming voice, "Since when did you start talking so damn loudly?" came with a worried tone as she said, Steve, not to alarm you or anything, but I think you should open your eyes before you make that kind of statement." And so he did, as he was told, and Steve Rodgers' tired but happy expression turned to one of pure horror when he found himself face to face with, and that was the moment he always woke up with a jolt, panting and sweating, his heart racing 1,000 miles a minute. He raked a hand through his hair and pushed a deep, deep sigh as he took a look at himself. Yeah, the machine had done what it had made to do. He was now a super soldier with a strength bigger than most normal humans possess and a healing factor higher than anyone thought possible. Beefier body included. His side turned a bit sorrowful as his eyes turned toward his surroundings. If only that stupid machine had made him shrink down to the size of a goddamn blade of grass in exchange.
Oh
Plot
no.
twist.
This is getting dark.
All right, chapter 2. 7 a.m. Natasha Romanoff. Good morning in there, came a voice so damn chirpy at so damn early in the morning that it made Steve turn around in his bed, which was basically a piece of wadding he'd found laying at the bottom of a shoebox which had quickly become his home, with the help of some helpful scissors and a very craftful Natasha, that he'd always be grateful for that particular fact.
So crafty.
By the way, guys, it's not me mispronouncing stuff. The writing on this is just kind of like rushed, I would say, grammatically.
Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to be a blade of grass that bad.
Yeah.
Same.
But right now, just as the sun was beginning to rise, Steve Rodgers was anything but grateful to the redhead as she leaned over and annoyingly blew a small puff of air at his back, knowing that to Steve, it was like a hurricane coming down on him. And unfortunately for him, it did the trick, as he was now rubbing his hurt bottom and looked at the grinning woman that he had the misfortune to call his friend and teammate. He let out a deep sigh as he said, Nat, it's 7 in the morning. Do you know how many people are up at this hour? None. And especially on a Saturday. I'm like imagining him being like,
Yeah.
It's 7 in the morning. It's like even like tinier Kevin Hart just losing his shit.
Oh man.
Especially on a Saturday. But the giant woman standing in front of him simply crossed her arms as she explained, Hey, you're the one that asked me last night to wake you up this early in the morning, remember?
Ooh.
Everything came back to Steve like a flood. The laboratory. The test. Maybe this time. Steve was up now off his unhurt bottom in a second, and inside Natasha's awaiting hand the next. Well, what the hell are you waiting for? Hop to it, he explained, clicking his thighs together around who he now thought he had the great fortune to call his friend and teammate's index finger like he was riding a horse or something.
Yikes.
This made the redhead giggle, but began to walk in the desired direction anyway. Hey, don't forget that we've got to look at that supposed Hydra cell down at the bay later this afternoon, so don't take too long up there, all right? She reminded her small comrade. Yeah, let's remind me more. Speed walking, Steve retorted, giving Natasha's palm a hard slap, still acting like he was riding an animal.
Ooh.
But the woman in question felt this time around and made her double up in rapidity, and what with the blonde man having great strength despite his very small structure. Anyway, it's just like, goofy shit. Oh, hang on. So now they're explaining that this like Steve kind of like hangs out with Ant-Man all the time because Ant-Man can shrink down to his size.
Okay,
That's cute.
That's kind of adorable.
Yeah, and they do I don't know, Avengers shit. So then the point is that Tony and Bruce have been trying to figure out how to get him normal size, and they were like, oh, we figured another guy who had the super serum like you, his blood might work or something. So in this sense, I don't think he's met Bucky before in this fic. Bucky's new to him in this fic. And so this is now he's meeting James Buchanan Barnes. 7 a.m. the next morning. James Buchanan Barnes. This wouldn't do at all. This guy, this hunk of a guy, this gray-eyed, long-haired dreamboat of a guy, this golden metal-armed, curiously looking at him hotness of a guy he didn't know what he was, but this guy clearly, understandably, 100% was. And as the two of them stared inside the other's eyes, one the size of a thumb and the other's one the size... Sorry. And as the two of them stared inside the other's eyes, one the size of a thumb and the other one the size of anybody else, Steve knew that this Buchanan guy could never, ever simply be his friend. Because...
But also, one of them has, like... I'm still trying to figure out the logistics of this. So one is tiny and is staring into, like, a big person's eyes.
You know what? I would say probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's just, like, it's
one eye.
So small.
Very small.
So small.
Yeah. So small.
Very small.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm trying to get to the point where he said, oh shit, hang on. Steve sighed once again as he looked at the entire title of what he had written 8 weeks earlier. My anti-dating Bucky Barnes list. Like, you are maybe 5 inches tall. Maybe calm down.
Maybe calm down.
Hey, 5 inches is like average, so you know.
Whoa. Maybe he can ride Bucky's dick like a horse.
Oh no!
Talk about your first cowgirl.
I feel like all the people who have like giant fetishes and shrinking fetishes are gonna be really into this.
Like
episode.
those people, yeah, like the coming on figurines people. Or like the guy who like is really into giantesses on Reddit. He's like, he comes up all the time.
Yes.
This is for you.
Specifically.
Giant.
Well, no, but he likes large women. Oh, well, because then all women are large to him if he's shrunk down. Yes, this is for you, giantess guy from Reddit.
Giantess guy's like, Ant-Man is my king.
Oh my god.
I mean, Paul Rudd could be anyone's king.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd can get it, FYI, to everyone.
Get it. He looks...
Hear that, Paul Rudd?
Hey, Paul Rudd. You're beautiful.
Alright, well, I'm going to say that this fic is... I'm over it.
I have to say Stucky is not my favorite ship. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail, but that's why I didn't give you guys my Twitter.
Hate mail that we get.
I mean, I like Stucky, but I read this T'Challa's like Bucky fic the other day, and now I'm like super into it.
I would prefer Steve and Tony.
That's the other big one I saw.
Yeah, I'm just
Stony. Well, I feel like Stony's a lot of hate fucking though. Like it's just like, you created Ultron. How could you? The ultimate American betrayal. And he's like, I have a lot of money.
Like, since when have you known me to like fluff?
I don't. Yeah. I love fluff. No. I'm a fluff master. Are you kidding?
Fluff fics I've ever read are the ones you've sent me.
I'm sorry that I've sent you so many fluff fics. I know.
You haven't sent me that many. I'm saying that usually if there's a hurt angst tag, then I'm there.
I don't like hurt angst. I'm all about the fluff and the anything that makes me think to myself, oh my gosh, yes, quietly, that's what I like. That's what I need.
I just feel like the things that make me, oh my gosh, yes, and the things that make you, oh my gosh, yes, might be different things.
I think they're absolutely opposite things. You'll be like, oh my god, they got into a car accident, one of them lost, like, you know, I don't know, all of his memories.
Testicles.
No, wait, this is mine.
Oh, yeah.
All of his memories, and now he has to remember his husband, and I'm like, they're married!
No, you're totally right. We have to 100% different reactions.
You're like, oh, his dad is like torturing Sam, and now Dean has to go save them, but you know, will he leave Cass alone? And Cass is struggling with a drug addiction, and now we don't know. He can't, you know, he's like, I'm feeling pulled by.
How did you just describe the fic that I'm writing, Taneene? How did you do that? Gosh damn it. Ugh. Well,
Ryan,
on that note,
preferences or
no? I'm just kind of out here doing my own thing.
You're just here.
I'm just here. And on that note, mine is called "Desperate Measures" by the Reluctant Writer.
Yes.
He doesn't seem that reluctant, or they don't. Anyway. Steve was negotiating with a shifty homeless man in an alley again, and Tony was on backup. Again.
What?
All right. Not just a shifty homeless man. The shifty homeless man. Bucky Barnes, Winter Shoulder, Snow White.
Winter
Whatever
Shoulder.
it was he was answering to these days. In any case, the guy was clearly suffering from a pretty severe case of freezer burn, and Tony didn't think that the prospects of a total recall looked particularly good. But Steve wasn't giving up. Bless his naive star-spangled heart.
Okay, but that's the best description of Captain America I've ever heard. Naive star-spangled heart?
Just kept tracking the dude down over and over. Still, there wasn't anything wrong with his memory, so he had agreed to always bring an escort in case the situation went south. It had gone south more times than bear mentioning. The Buxicle. Oh my god, Tony. That particular nickname formula wasn't even funny the first time. Was proving himself a fickle beast. He had only been loosed on the streets about a month or so ago, and he still had the nerves of a cracked-out jackrabbit, the memory of a goldfish, and regrettably, the reflexes of a World War II sniper. He hadn't seriously attempted to harm Steve since the battle at Triskelion, but nobody wanted to take any chances. Steve's voice had gotten low and urgent. Tony flipped down his visor and spiraled in his optics for a closer look at the proceedings. He had a reasonable view from the perch on the roof of a seedy massage parlor.
What?
Cap had insisted he keep his distance. Christ. It was like taking a 15-year-old to the mall with her friends, but he couldn't hear any of the specifics. He saw more or less what he expected. Steve speaking gently and emphatically, hands open in a show of peaceful intent, while his wayward companion stood poised to spring like a cornered animal. Bucky's eyes were wild. His appearance was wilder. Hello, North American Sasquatch, thought Tony. Next time I'm going to try tranking him just so someone can give him a bath and a shave. The situation was getting increasingly tense. Bucky had a frightened, feral look that suggested that his brain was trying to tear itself in two, and Steve just looked miserable. Poor kid. That's got to be rough, Tony muttered to himself. He flipped his visor up and began fumbling with the soda can he tucked in his suit's brand new refrigerated cup holder. Latest feature. Ah, damn robot fingers. He had only just succeeded in popping the tab and tearing half the can apart, but what are you going to do? With an increase in volume down in the alley caught his attention. Tony took a swig and flipped his visor down again. Bucky was backed up near a wall. Tony thought he had the look of a bewildered, almost recognition about him, but he was probably too spooked to do any further mental gymnastics. After all, Steve kept steadily approaching him. This struck Tony as unwise. He only had a 3/4 view of Cap now, but from the way he was moving, it looked nervous as hell. It was probably about time to give up for the day, not that Steve had ever been very good at the whole giving up thing. Then, in one swift motion, Steve pulled Bucky's face toward his and kissed him hard on the mouth. In a second swift motion, Tony spewed soda all over the inside of his helmet. Coughing and fumbling with the controls, he launched himself off the roof and towards the two men in the alley, zooming in his optics as far as he could. To his astonishment, he saw that nobody had died and that Bucky had in fact stopped moving and was staring at Steve with an expression of slack-jawed wonder, looking as if he were trying to say something. Then finally, he spoke. Steve? The owner of the name garbled the sound of unintelligible joy and fell to his knees. Tony touched down behind him. Hey, Romeo, creative. Steve turned with a start, but before he could say anything, Bucky began to speak haltingly. Robert Rory Rogers. Is your last name Rogers? Did you ride the Cyclone once? Who is that behind you? He paused, licking his cracked lips. Did you just kiss me? Steve shot Tony a frantic warning glass. You say nothing, he hissed. I say nothing, Tony said. And then in finishing thoughts, in parentheses, Tumblr's gonna have fits, Tony thought.
So wait, so ultimately he doesn't remember Steve?
It seems like it kind of jogged his memory.
I don't know about this.
Well, it's over. So it happened. Ta-da! You doing okay, Taneene?
I'm still trying to take in whenever people write cracked lips. Like, you know what? It's fan fiction, so that means it's fiction. Give everyone smooth lips, dude. Like, give them all never-ending Eos or fucking chapstick. Like, I don't give a shit. No one should have chapped lips in fan fiction. That's the hill I'm willing to die on.
But Taneene, if you were in a hurt angst fanfiction, obviously the lips would be chapped.
I'm just saying, as a long-time Destiel fic reader, if I read one more fucking fic about how Cass always had chapped lips, I'm going to vomit in my fucking mouth.
I feel like that's canon, though.
Yeah, I mean,
they
you know,
never put
can we
chapstick on Misha wands.
can we give him some balm? I don't know.
Can we give the boy some balm?
Balm this boy up, please.
Balms away.
Yeah, balm him up. But seriously, it's disgusting. Well, what annoyed me was, like, you know, what they would do is they would write these, like, terrifically out of character fics, right? It would be like, Castiel is a hot, sexy young dancer with a high-pitched voice and a tendency for doing the right thing, always the right way, even without the best intentions. But then he had chapped lips. And I was like, you don't get to come in here and pick one thing that may or may not resemble the character and then pick all these other things that just fit whatever version of a man you want to fit. It's no.
Isn't that the essence of fanfiction, though?
It's too much.
Like, at its core.
Yeah. I've read ones where it was like, Castiel was an amazing dancer. I was like, Castiel has never even encountered dancing.
I feel like if he heard music, he just wouldn't know what to
He'd
do.
be like, this is strange. I wonder if Dean likes this. And then,
He'd be like, something's wrong with Angel Radio.
no, he would be like, this sounds oddly similar to the rhythmic stylings that Dean enjoys. And then Sam would just be like, Britney Spears? Yeah, I bet he liked that when he was 13. Haha. I love making fun of my brother's dick. And then he'd be like, that was really weird. Why would you bring that up? And he's like, oh, my brother's dick? I don't know. I don't know why I like to bring up my brother's dick all the time. Like, it's just like a thing. Like, I just bring up my brother's dick, like, every so often in conversation. And he's like, you're still doing it. Like, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a fic. That's a fic right there. You're welcome. Stamped spaghetti or not.
It was beautiful.
It was really good.
Thanks. I feel like I really captured the essence of the characters. Cass trying his best, and Sam trying his best, and Dean suspiciously absent despite being a fan favorite.
Honestly, when he's absent, he's probably trying his best.
That's true. So he gets that too.
Well, that's the Stucky ship, mostly.
Despite us veering wildly off territory to bring up Supernatural again.
No, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, that's all anyone really wants to read.
I mean, that's
It's
why you guys brought me, and this is where I'm at.
Yeah, you know what? It's full circle. And it's going to keep circling back on itself over and over and over
Like an
again.
Ouroboros.
A downward spiral, some would say.
Where it's Sisyphus, honestly, guys. You guys try your best, and then I'm just the asshole that's like, oops, knock it back down.
It's okay. it's why you're here, you know? You keep us all together on our backs, knocked down.
Grounded.
I guess grounded is the nice
Killing
word for
it.
that. Mm-hmm.
Check us out next week for our Tantalus themed episode. I'm kidding.
Oh, well, in that vein, our trusty listeners, sorry for our hiatus, and thanks for tuning into this episode of Shipwrecked. If you have any comments, as usual, concerns, or better yet, fic recs or episode suggestions, then please tweet us at ShipwreckedCast or visit our website at shipwreckedpodcast.com. From our OT3 to yours, so long, and see you next week.
Bye.